Oh, absolutely, Julie. That's very, very significant change in tone. He was just saying that he was outraged this could ever happen to him, to a black man in America, that it was completely racist, that it was outrageous, and he was even saying that he was going to make this part of the documentary that he's doing on racial profiling. Now, after President Obama's come out on television and kind of calmed everybody down, cooler heads have prevailed. He's vacationing this weekend. We're not hearing any statements from him. And we'll have to see if they have that beer, Julie.
All right, well, yeah. I want to be able to see pictures of that. What about Sergeant Crowley?
Sergeant Crowley, talks about the fact that he was really insulted by being accused of being a racist. He has given a detailed interview to one local news station where he talks about exactly what was happening. He went up to the door, how he didn't know who this gentleman was, what he wanted to do, and then he got insulted. Ultimately, you have to remember the professor was arrested for disorderly conduct. But it does seem like this police officer just wants to have a nice weekend with his kids and his family. He said he regretted it only because he didn't want it to become such a big issue.
All right, Courtney Keeley live in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Thank you very much. The exiled president of Honduras, Manuel Zelaya, rallying at his country's border again today to challenge the powers that kicked him out of office. Zelaya speaking to supporters of Nicaragua, just steps from Nicaragua's border with Honduras. The embattled leader now saying he will set up a camp there until his family is allowed out of the country. Zelaya was ousted in a military coup last month after he allegedly tried to change the constitution to keep himself in office. And just yesterday, he briefly crossed the border into Honduras. Steve Erickson is live there in the capital of Honduras, about 50 miles from where Zelaya tried to cross. Hi, Steve.
Julie, this increasingly bizarre story has taken yet another twist. For the past 2 days, we have seen the ousted president of Honduras, Manuel Zelaya. He's been at that border region between Nicaragua and Honduras, briefly crossing over underneath the chains that mark that border area, just a few feet, and then crossing back into Nicaragua. He had vowed to march in. He had vowed to be led and protected by his supporters. He thought the soldiers would lower their weapons and let him in. That is not what happened. And now a new twist. The ousted president says that he will camp out along that border until he's let in. Of course, this move, accompanied by dozens of television cameras, has really increased the pressure and the attention. But opponents of Zelaya say it is a reckless move, a move that could lead to death or injury of some of his followers. The interim government leader here said it was a silly thing to be doing. Right now, some real controversy about that move and what's next for Zelaya. There could be some negotiations, perhaps in the U.S. as well. But even while there is some chaotic scenes and danger possibly on that border area, here in the streets, it would be hard to tell in the capital, Tegucigalpa, that actually this is a country whose president was ousted less than a month ago. Cars back on the streets, stores open. Protests, which were heavy just a few weeks ago, have now really declined. It's hard to find more than 50 or 100 people at a time. This city, the capital, seems to be getting back